Hello, screenwriters, and welcome to Writing for Screens, the Screenwriting Step-by-Step Project, episode number 111. My name is Glenn Gers, and I come to you every Monday through Friday, if I can make it, at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, to let you look over my shoulder, share my screen as I demonstrate the process of writing a TV drama pilot script. Doesn't have to be that kind that I'm trying to teach. I'm just trying to teach script writing in general. You could be writing a screenplay for a feature or a short or a web series. Doesn't matter. Script writing is the same process, no matter what the form is. That's what I think is important, learning the process, learning some skills and tools and skills, and the process, the day-to-day, how do I turn these ideas and these desires into scenes, into dialogue and action from characters in a story? Because that is the one thing that writers do for screenwriting every time they do a project. Every project is different. Every artist is different. Every style is different. You can't say, oh, this is the universal correct thing. The only thing you can do is say you have to find your process. And so, since I can't tell you what your process is going to be, I'm going to show you mine. Hopefully you'll find some stuff in it that you think is useful and you'll steal that, because that is the point. Look at a lot of stuff. Watch all sorts of different types of movies, read all sorts of different types of scripts and books on how to write scripts, and then only take the stuff you like, the stuff that works for you. Hello, Natasha. How you doing? So that is what we do here. Luconi, a new face. Hello, Luconi. Every day we started with just a few random notes on a basic idea. I have worked up an outline that took months. Now we have done a few months on the rough draft, and now we are doing some notes, planning to do the rewrite. That is what's going on. Hello, this is Kitschy. Good to see you. Hello, I write. Okay, cool. Everybody's here. All sorts of folks are watching, and hopefully you'll ask questions. If you want to ask me a question about what I'm doing or about screenwriting in general, and you are not watching this live, because most people who watch this will not be watching it live. You'll be watching it in the recorded, downloaded version that appears upon YouTube after this live stream is finished. You can contact me. You can ask a question even though you're not watching live. I do not care if you are live or not. You can still ask. And if for some reason you don't want to do it that way, you can do it by just typing your question into the comments of this or any of my YouTube videos. Hello, Kirby Light. Good to see you. All right, so let's get back to work. I've done the boilerplate intro to let people who may be just showing up for the first time what it is we're doing here. Now let's do it. Let's get it to. Wait. We have Natasha is venting. I am so stuck in my second screenplay. Well, why are you stuck? I mean, what part are you stuck at? Let me know, and I'll hopefully be able to give you some practical advice. Yeah, please do that. This is Kitschy. You send it to me at this valuable place, writingforscreens.com. You click contact me, and you can contact me. And that way I can facilitate contact between you guys in a safe, internet-safe manner. Okay, let's get to work. If you recall, all of last week, I was spending my time going through the script, page by page, and writing notes on every scene. So that's what I've got. I've got about, how many pages do I have here? I've got 18 pages of notes, 17. And now, in order to make those useful, what we need to do is get them into the outline. The point is to not pile up documents with different ideas and notes all over the place, because that doesn't help you. Keep the outline as your working space. This is just my suggestion. Everybody has their own way, but I think that the important thing to do is not have all your thoughts and notes in a lot of different places. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up the outline, and I'm going to start putting these notes into this form, and then I'm going to delete that whole document. Well, not really delete it. I'm going to put it in the archive. Hold on. Speaking of which, UKPK second draft archive. Now we have an archive. Okay, cool. So let's just get these general notes in there. Boom. Okay. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? See? I am going to make a duplicate of this. Boom. Then I'm going to take the original and put it in the archive so I don't lose it. Because it is very easy as you are writing to delete stuff, to forget it, to move on to some new thing, and then later go back and say, you know, I think that I was wrong about that. So create an archive, a library, a backup of your material. So then when you open this and start cutting it up, it's okay, because you are not throwing away your only copy of things. Never throw away your only copy of anything. Okay, so here we go. George record. Now, let's see what we've got here. Okay, that's no longer a question. This is the plan. Okay. He's a bartender. We decided that. Okay. Okay. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to go through this outline, and I've thrown a lot of ideas into the outline. I need to clean it up. This is the basic premise of this scene. What I try to do here is put at the beginning of the scene, make a note to myself what the basic point of each scene is. Let's make this smaller. Don't have to make a big thing out of it now. Going to make that. Okay, so see what I'm doing here is I'm just cleaning it up. I am getting rid of anything I can so that I've just got a really clean, like a little bulletin board with all the things I have to do, like a recipe. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, it is. It's a pleasant shirt. Okay. It is from, I believe it is from Urban Outfitters, I believe. Okay, so we're just going to start putting these notes into the outline. And this is perhaps not the most exciting thing you've ever seen, but what's going to happen is I'm going to give myself a checklist. Like I'm going to know that when I start to do the next draft, and I'm like, oh no, what do I do? I'm going to say, look at the list. I've got an outline and it has a list of things to do. Do this part, da 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 da. Boom. Okay. Okay. Hello, Maria. Very, very good to see you here. It is good. Thank you all for coming here. For those of you who are in America, you know, this is Martin Luther King Remembrance Day, and please do take some time out today to think about the incredible legacy that this man gave us. He stood for nonviolence and social justice and change, and We need more of all of those things. Okay. So this is a big basic note. So we're going to put it here. There we go. Okay, now. So start with the poisoning, very dramatic. So that's part of this concept, start with the poisoning. Okay. Yes, indeed. Just when you're feeling like America is in a messy spot, do remember there's been some good guys. There's been some people who did good, and therefore it is possible to do good. Okay, tell us. Okay. Okay, so all right. So I'm going to take this note. This is part of this. There we go. What I'm doing is basically editing as I transfer. I'm trying to make it clear so that when I look at it, I'm not reading a little essay, I'm getting instructions. That's really, the key here is you're trying to give yourself a set of instructions that you can follow, because one of the easiest thing it is to do when you're writing is get lost, to feel, that doesn't really work, or, oh, I don't really know if this is right. So the more that you can give yourself this set of instructions, things to do. I really think of the outline as two things. It's a workspace, like right now I am clearing up and focusing. And then when I'm working, it's a things to do list. That's really, really important to think of the outline not as something for anybody else. No one else has to see it. The references in the outline only have to mean something to you. It's your place to work. Need to print out my script and make old scoot notes. Yes, I used to do that, and I understand it, and everybody has to do what they got to do. The thing is, I mean, honestly, you know, people are saying, like, don't print stuff. Yes, if you're in an office, if you're in a law firm and you're churning out documents every day, sure. If you're printing out your scripts to read them, that means you are printing it out maybe every couple of months. So you're doing 120 pages, maybe, every couple of months, maybe. It's not the end of the world. Don't not do something you need to do because of some larger social problem that you're not actually contributing to in a meaningful way. Obviously, every piece of paper matters, but there is the relative importance and the relative salvation of the planet. And if you're printing out something every day, that is a problem. If you're printing out a script when you finish it, how often do you finish a script? Okay. Okay. I am not sure how much of this I'm going to get in there, but I want to have it. Is this... All right, let's just take this for now. Failure as a rocker. Okay. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to make this a question because the truth is I am not sure about this yet. Okay. So I don't know what that means, John. If you don't explain it, I ban you. Because it's crude, and therefore I think you're just a troll. And if you're just a troll, I want you to go away. But if you're a real person who's really trying to tell us something, well, then I guess I want to hear about it. Excellent. This is great. Good. Everyone in here should be trying to do their thing in their way. Yes, Luconi, I can do that. And I appreciate I appreciate your showing up, and I appreciate your asking. I really think it's good to just get involved, find out what's going on. Here's what's going on. Let's give Luconi a quick update. What I'm doing is I'm a screenwriting teacher. I am a screenwriter, former screenwriter and television writer. The past 25 years I've been working in the film and TV industry as a writer. I had to teach myself how to write screenplays. Now I'm going to do a little giving back. I am made a YouTube channel and I am putting lessons on there. It's called writingforscreens.com. There it is. Actually, that's my website. The YouTube channel is called Writing for Screens. Oh, you're on it. What am I saying? Anyway, there are lessons, little small lectures, little 10-minute lectures on topics. But then I said, that doesn't explain the process of writing a script, because the truth is the hardest thing to learn, because nobody talks about it, is the actual process, the day-to-day. How do I make things into scenes and structures? So I decided the easiest way to show that is to actually show it. I am doing this script. I brought an idea I had. I keep big scrap piles of ideas, story ideas, character ideas. One of them was this 2-sentence idea that a group of online detectives who are solving cold cases stumble on something which brings a serial killer down on them. And so they have to actually deal with the serial killer. And then I wanted it to be a romance between two people who get involved in this group. That's all I knew. And so then what I did was I have gone through step by step building this outline, which is a document which describes everything scene by scene. Each scene has its own line to say what the scene is about, and then I talk about what's inside the scene. Okay, so this particular story is about this guy named George. Well, it's not really about him. He dies in the first scene. A guy named George is a podcaster who's doing true crime podcasts about a serial killer. George says, I have found new evidence about this serial killer, the chemistry set killer. He's a poisoner, serial poisoner, who has been a cold case long inactive, but he's got new evidence about this guy, and he's talking about it on his podcast, but then he dies by poisoning. His next of kin, the executor of his estate, is his ex-wife, who he has not seen in 30 years. She gets called to the crime scene, and they say, what do you know about what he was doing? She says, nothing. I haven't seen him in 30 years. So at the same time, a group of serial killer hunters who meet online in a web sleuth community, people who do amateur detecting through the internet, they know about George, and they say, we have to solve this crime. So they go to try and meet Madeline and actually try and get the evidence that George said he had. The problem is, in that group, one of the guys in that group does not actually believe in what they're doing. He is a journalist. He is an old newspaper reporter who is writing an article about online crazies. He wants to protect Madeline, the ex-wife, from this group of crazies. So he goes there to meet her too. So that's the story, is that what happens is these two people, this old newspaper journalist and this woman who has nothing to do with serial killer hunting, get dragged into the hunt for the man who murdered this guy, George, because of random circumstances, basically. So they find themselves involved in this group, and at the end of this pilot episode, the serial killer himself contacts them and says, "I did not do it." So the mystery gets increased further. Now, the group of hunters has more evidence, a way to track the serial killer, and the serial killer realizes he has made a mistake by contacting them, and he may have to kill them. So that's the premise of the series. These two people who have nothing to do with serial killer hunting get involved in a game of cat and mouse between online detectives and a retired serial killer. Yes. Although I did not actually get the Emmy for that. I got the Emmy for a TV movie I wrote. But I will actually do a video about that. Okay, so that's what's going on. I hope that catches you up, Luconi. What I'm writing now is an hour-long drama pilot script showing you how to do it. And what we're doing right now is we are working on the outline. I have read through my rough draft and made notes on what I need to do. So the first thing I'm doing right now is just getting all these notes into the outline. Okay, so that's a note. All right, so yes, this is good. He has set a countdown. That's good. Okay, so you see what I'm doing here is I'm creating a big hunk of stuff to do, and then slowly but surely I'm going to try and whittle it down. When I start to look at this scene, I'm going to say, how much of this can I get into this scene and how much is just not important? The backstory, I'm not sure how important that's going to be. The truth is, I'm actually going to make a note about this here. Keep this simple. The step-by-step tale of how George ended up as a podcaster, etc., is not important. Because George's early life is part of this story in that it reflects on Madeline, who's the actual main character, I keep thinking I need to fill in George's story, but the truth is I don't. George could have simply inexplicably given up whatever he was doing. I mean, it kind of makes sense. He went from rocker to rock DJ to podcaster. That's really all that we need to know. Yeah. Podcasting. That's it. This is it. Super clear. And honestly, here's one of the things. Like I was just thinking about. I've got this question. This is really important. If you, I do this, and I think it's very, very useful. Stuff I have not made a decision about, things I have to really figure out. I try to do them in this format, which I call question. The point is I make it bright pink and italics and make it very, very clear so that when I am looking at my list of things to do, if I see one of these pink things, like, I'm not ready yet. I don't know the answer to this. And so then you can go through and when you get you to where your whole outline is these simple detail notes, then you know you're in good shape. So I don't think we need to know this. We don't need to know what got him into podcasting. It's very clear he's a guy who lives for the kick. He lives for the kick, and podcasting true crime is his latest kick. Okay. Let's unbold that because it's not really that important. This is okay, see, look at that. This is now these are my big notes to myself, which I put in a separate font and color so that I understand these are general notes. These are details for the scene. This is the basic point of the scene, the name of the scene, if you will, and all right. Kirby asks a question. If you write a script and it's purchased but never produced, do the rights ever revert back to you? Aha! I will answer that question because it's something that many people don't understand. Purchased and optioned, two very, very different things. In fact, an option is actually an option to purchase, if you had the full name of it. If someone purchases your script, if they buy the rights and pay for it fully and you have a signed contract, then no, never comes back to you. They purchased it. They bought it. It's theirs. It's their property. That is one of the things about scripts. They are fungible. You can sell it and not own it anymore, and they can do what they want with it. And in fact, that is the deal with all scripts. Unlike novels where essentially you retain the ownership and you give the publisher the right to publish for a certain amount of time. With scripts, you sell it. And when you sell it, you lose all control and copyright. But an option is simply a smaller deal, which says, I'm a producer. I want to see if I can get this script made. I want to give you a set amount of money, $5,000, to hold it for a year. So you have to keep it. You can't sell it to other people. You can show it to other people, but you can't sell it to anyone else during that year that I have the option, because I am going to try and use that time to set it up, to find the money to get it made, to buy it. In that time, it's basically like putting a hold on it. And that money, that $5,000, that's yours. However, at the end of that year or whatever the time limit is of the option, if they have not decided to purchase it and buy it at the rest of the price, then it gets back to you and you keep the $5,000, and that's the way it goes. That's the difference in option and purchase. Options do revert to you. Purchases do not. Very often, the option will contain the basic strokes of the purchase. For instance, they will say, I am optioning it for $5,000 for a year. And at the end, during that year, if I decide to trigger the rest of this purchase, I will buy it for $500,000. By the way, that's a lot of money. You probably won't sell something for that. The point is that the option often states the basic purchase price or other basic parts of the deal. That's depending on what you and your agent want to say, this is the deal. There are many, many variations on this option deal. Now, the tricky part about this is most of the time someone options your script, and the option can be as much as $1. Could be as little as $1 or $10 if you feel like doing it. If you're basically just trying to set the producer can't really proceed with the project without the option. Because here's what's going to happen. They go to a big company and they say, I've got this script. I love it. I've attached this director who says they want to do it if you want to put up the money. So now I've got this script and this director. Go to the big company and they say, do you want to pay to produce this? Because producers don't usually have their own funds to actually finance something. The big company will then say, do you actually own the option? Because otherwise, we're going to come in and all of a sudden that writer could say, oh, no, we've decided to go to another company, and the whole thing falls apart. So the producer needs the option in order to have credibility as they try to get the deal set up. Likewise, if they go to a director and they say, hey, this is a great script. Do you want to sign on as director, assuming we get the money? And they say, sure, but if you don't have the option, somebody else could buy it and hire a different director and I'd be screwed. So you need the option before I will attach myself. So that's what options are for. They give the producer the right to make the deals with the promise of getting it made. If it falls apart, it falls apart. But at least for that moment, the producer has that right. It's a commitment between the writer and the producer. So the next thing you need to know about this is if under certain circumstances, someone may indeed, if they have the option, at the end of the option period, instead of giving it back to you, they may say they want to buy it. Now, during that time, if somebody else comes along with a better deal, there's nothing you can do. You can't stop it. They could even say, oh my gosh, we've got this little indie production going on. All of a sudden, a big studio is interested for some reason. They can say, I'm buying it for my little price and I'll sell it to the studio for the big price and keep myself attached, and that's a good deal. There's nothing you can do. When you sign an option, you are signing a legal contract which has consequences. Just a thing to remember when you sign an option. On the other hand, options are a good thing. You should not feel queasy about giving somebody a cheap option if they are struggling and putting their effort in, but they don't have a lot of money, but they are going to take the time, and if they have connections in Hollywood, that's worth, saying, yeah, give me $100, take it for 6 months and do that. Usually options are 18 months, but if it's real cheap, if you're just everybody's starting out, who knows? Anyway, that is the option versus purchase. It is very important that you know that, because almost no one purchases anything. They option it. Then if they get the deal together, they purchase it. Very, very often, things will be optioned most of the time and then let go. Oh well. The other tricky thing you have to remember about options and purchases is if somebody options the script and then they say to you, will you do a quick rewrite of it while I have the option so that it's the way I want it to be when I try and sell it? The changed version that you did for them, while, if you do it for pay, they own that. They don't own the script, but they own everything that is in it that happened after you did the second draft. So you do want to be careful about thinking you own something. If you accept, the basic rule is, if you accept money for it, you don't own it. If you accept money to rewrite a script, anything in that rewrite belongs to the person who paid the money. It gets very tricky if they don't own the script, but the point is you can't use their stuff and they can't use your stuff, and it's kind of a weird mutually assured destruction. I actually did have a script which got optioned. They held it for 3 years. Other people, as far as I know, did work on it. I never looked at those. I have no idea who or what did drafts on that. It came back to me. I owned it because I was not using anything that had been done in the time that I was not on it. Okay, options and purchases. Alrighty, so chemistry set killer. Reveal of the garage is nice. I just like to put in, that's cool. All right. you should always remember to keep the notes that say this is good, as well as the notes that are things to do, because you need the encouragement. You need to know this is the part that should stay. It's very important when you're doing a rewrite to remember that the point of the rewrite is that you got part of the way there. You're not just throwing everything out and starting again. If you're doing a rewrite, something that you wrote is worth keeping. And then you are going to rewrite the parts that are not up to that standard. You are not just throwing everything out and starting again, because that will be eternal. You'll just keep doing that. So it's really a good idea to remember what the good stuff is in your rewrite, because that's the point. You're trying to then build around the good stuff. Okay. Hello, Flying Over Trout, and you are welcome, Kirby, and YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. I get an email when I go live. But I would just say I apologize for YouTube and its notification system. Different people tell me different things happen different days. I don't know the answer. I am helpless, clueless, and powerless when it comes to the mysteries of YouTube. I'm just using them to reach you. Okay. This is a good note. I'm going to make that a note. So, create an image that will be overturned by meeting deacons. In other words, there's going to be this stalker, this super stalker image that will be overturned when deacon says, no, I didn't. That wasn't the point. That's not what I was into. Let me just find, excuse me, I'm going to scroll and find, did I keep the so far so good? There it is. Okay, so far so good. Boom. I like that as a bookmark, a placeholder, right, to tell us where we are. There we go. Okay, so next scene, note. Yes. Intercut. Flashback bits. I am not sure that's going to work, but it's worth trying. See, and just things like this, like maybe there's a way he's listening to it. Just maybe he's listening to it. I'm trying to get my notes down to a really spare, simple set of instructions. That's the main thing that you want to do with your notes. Don't pontificate to yourself anymore. Just try and make it something simple and practical. That's the key. There we go. Look at that. I went from 3 sentences to 1. Is there a TV series or show you wish you could have written for, but it was canceled, or you just never got the chance to? Damn near every show I like, I wish I had gotten the chance to. And I have to say, and it's frustrating because even now, I have some people who I worked with who are now show running shows that I really admire. The guys who are taking over Perry Mason, which I quite liked. Perry Mason. It's weird, but I really liked it. And The Morning Show, the showrunner of that, worked with me when she was on Homeland. Anyway, the point is, at this point in my career, I'm not getting hired for anything. I am retired. I am an old guy, and they are not particularly looking to hire me. So the answer is there a series that you show you could wish you could have written? Yeah, absolutely. Mad Men. Damn, I met Matt Weiner once before Mad Men, and I I actually thought everyone who ever met Matt Weiner when Mad Men started, they were emailing him and saying, "Hey, remember me? I'd love to write your show." And I just couldn't join that group, you know? So what can I say? Anyway, let's keep writing. I'm writing for you guys now. But there's so many, there's so many good, good shows. So yes, I gotta say, man, Better Call Saul. Oh my God, that's good. Is age really a factor in writing for screens? It kind of is. Yeah. Seinfeld. I don't know that I did. I don't know that I would have wanted to write for Seinfeld. I have a feeling that room was I don't know. Comedy rooms are hard. Comedy rooms are very competitive. Most of them. I like drama rooms. Anyway, is age really a factor? It is often important to hire young people who have their fingers on the pulse. There is a perception that old guys like me are out of it. And some of that is fair, On the other hand, old guys like me know stuff that nobody else knows. What can I say? I would say that age is when you get, I'm old, I'm 63. So, somebody wants to start a show and they're thinking, we want to run 5 years. They're not sure they want to have me involved. But also just, there's a new generation. There's a greater diversity. There's greater understanding of different kinds of storytelling in different parts of our culture that I will not be best at. I'm not going to say that they're wrong about that. 60s soap. Why don't you do that now? That sounds great. I think it would be really cool. Hard to sell, but if you really went all out with the 60s-ness of it and the soapness of it and tried to I don't know, writing a 60s soap opera now sounds really cool. To have some kind of meta, self-conscious, ironic understanding of it, that sounds great. Yes, absolutely. Age, yes, that is true. That's the other thing. I am old and I'm not famous. Eli Roth is famous, so therefore there's most hiring goes from the mojo theory that this person knows something, some magic, and so therefore they're constantly betting on the mojo of people who are new because who knows, maybe they're going to bring something magical, and especially people who have some great hit to their credit, they are magic and people want them. I didn't see Poirot, but yes, I love the character of Poirot, or I used to. I don't know if I still do. All right, let me try and get some writing done here. Boom. Okay. Meet Madeline. So basically, I like this scene. Maybe more of this dialogue starts in the lobby. So this isn't the world's longest elevator ride. Okay. Not even maybe. More of this dialogue. Wait a second, does Madeline burst out? I think it's the other person. Let me check this scene. Oh wait, we've got a Russian bot. Yeah, do it, Najo. Definitely. Excellent. Do it. Let me just see quickly. Let me go back here to the beginning. where we meet okay. Yeah, Brenda bursts out. Yeah, okay. That's the important. Okay, look at that. I'm going to take this, we're going to cut it, we're going to paste it up here. Look at this. We have got all these scenes working. Okay, that sounds really good. Marriage counseling series with a couple in 1963. I would watch that. I don't know. Am I the target demographic? I don't know, but I'll tell you. Sounds good. All right. So, going to do one more scene here. Okay. Okay. Okay, how was the body found is a good question. Not sure if it will come up, but wait a second. Don't start with Madeline arriving by cab. Start on Elms and have Mad walk into it. Okay, that's good. Okay. Establish there's a really big screen TV and great sound system. I don't think we have to say George has. Look at that. Okay. Wonderful. That is marvelous. By the way, this is really important for all of you. You write stuff like Natasha here, and then you get it out there you put it in contests, or you put it in film festivals, or you do whatever you can to get people to read it. You have to keep showing your work to people because that's the only way to get lucky. And the truth is, even when you are great, you have to get lucky. So work on being great and then work on being lucky by just putting yourself out there over and over. Cool. Okay. Okay. Just cutting spare words is really useful. All right. Yeah. Okay, this is a good note. Caller ID Xena. There's some bits in this scene where where Xena calls and it says Xena and she doesn't answer it. Something more branded. Something more excuse me. Something more rejectable. Okay, that's good. Film festivals, yes. Yes, by the way, I don't know that much about the contest world, but I do know that film festivals have more integrity than contests in general. And so, therefore, if there's a film festival that has a screenplay division, if you can, or a TV script division, where you can submit, instead of a finished film, the script, and many, many of them have this now, that is a great way to get your work out there. If you win, it's a great thing. Just because it's a credit to have. Look, I won this film festival. But the other thing is, once COVID subsides a little and people actually start going to film festivals again, I urge you to do that. Go to get in a film festival and go to the festival, because you meet people. You meet other struggling producers and directors, all the people who are bringing their film to the festival hoping that they're going to break in. You're going to meet some really cool people that way. It is as good as going to film school. You are going to meet, also, you get to see their work. You can say, oh, I like their work. I want to get to know them. But you have a thing to share, and you're meeting the people who are in the same place as you. Film festivals, a good deal. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Okay, simplify executor. George simply never changed his will after the divorce. This is very important. All right. I'm going to think about how to get. Great question. What will the process of ending this script will look like? What will look like is you keep doing this. You keep doing, you write a draft, you read through and make notes on things you want to change. That list of things you want to change gets smaller and smaller. You start to be tinkering with words instead of rethinking the scene. When all of the scenes are like, yeah, that's the scene I as best I can, I want it to be. And so now I'm just checking the read, getting the flow, fixing lines here and there. You're getting close to being done. And then at a certain point, you just say, I have changed everything I can change. I'm now randomly changing things because, and it's not making a substantial difference. Then it's done. It's as done as it's going to be. Once again, let me see if I can find this great line from Walter Mosley. Hold on. Where is this? There. It's done when you know that everything you need to fix, you can't fix yet. In other words, when you start to say, well, like maybe this character isn't right, but I don't know, it feels right, then you're done, because you've gotten it as far as you can with what your instinct is taking you to. You need to get it to where you can show it to someone and see. I believe you have to get it to where you like it. This is tricky because some people hate everything they do, and then that's a bad way to judge because they'll just say it's never ready. But ideally, and this is super important. We're gonna go out on this. The key here is to start to like your work. That's the most important. That's when you know it's done, when you like it. So find things you like, even if it's just a sentence or a plot twist or a beat, whatever it is, and then you make more of those. And when you have more of the things that you like than you don't, Ideally, when pretty much everything is as much as you like it as you can get, you're done. Later on, people will tell you to change stuff and you'll do it because they're paying you. But honestly, you have to like it. That's not gonna, it's almost impossible to be a writer and hate everything you do because you'll never finish it. So work on liking your own stuff. That's really an important indicator. It's like the Geiger counter of writing. Is, do I like it? Did it make me feel, oh, cool? That's the key. Liking your own work. Work on that if you don't do it. I tend to really like my own. Like when I'm writing, I'm like, oh, cool, look at that. That's fun. So you should be trying as best you can to at least feel like, yeah, that's not bad. It's pretty impressive. It's, what I intended, whatever your version of it is, liking your own stuff. That is what you want. That is your goal. And I think on that note, because we're coming up on an hour, I'm going to say so long. And we're going to get back to this tomorrow. It's going to be all week that we're going to be doing this, making our things to-do list, making our outline for the next draft. And every time you do that, every time you go through it and you say, oh, like this scene has to be this, you're settling in your mind the thing you want it to be so that when you get down to actually rewriting things, you have a plan, you have a goal, you have an ideal that you are striving for. That is how you rewrite. And with that, I say, go write something.